Hello and welcome. This is episode 3. I am your co host, Andrew Gay, along with my other co host, Tom Fox, and we are here with Mrs. Leslie Jones, and we're going to talk about the eclipses that are coming to Kerrville in 2023, later this year, and 2024. Leslie, first off, thank you. Hello, and for joining
Hi,
us.
thank you for having me.
You bet. We're glad that you're here. We're excited to talk to you. We had the pleasure of listening to your talk at the Economic Summit a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
And so we just wanted to kind of maybe we can start there and review some of that. And
sure.
if you don't mind kicking us off to kind of give us now maybe if you want to give us a background too about where you work and where your
Okay,
perspective is coming from.
totally. I'm Leslie Jones. I'm the PR and Communications Manager at the Kerrville Convention and Visitors Bureau. So our involvement in this is Kerrville will be a major destination for the 2024 total solar eclipse. And of course, we will be a popular destination for the 2023 annular eclipse that's coming in October of this year. And so we have been working with the city to just help kind of be a hub of information and helping source it and just get it out and tell people about it. So that's our role in this whole gig. So because we will be anticipating, especially for the 2024 eclipse, a lot of people in town. So a lot of preparation goes into that.
So just to pick up on something there, maybe we can that's a good starting point. Do you know or want to talk about a little bit where some of that information comes from as far as like what references are you guys using to try to figure out exactly or guesstimate how many people are going to be here?
Totally. The biggest guesstimation, I know Hill Country Alliance is one of our biggest resources that we've been working with, as well as the city. And I know for the 2024 eclipse, the number that's being, you'll probably hear a lot, is anticipating 150,000 people coming to our community for the 20. And that number we are getting from Hill Country Alliance. It's their quote. There's no real way to know an exact number
Right.
because we're one of the we are a prime location when the 2024 eclipse comes into Texas. We're on the I-10 corridor. We're the biggest town as you come in from the west, and we're predicted to have great weather and clear skies. So it it could be more. It's scary to think that, but they have to kind of have a number to start from, and so that is the number that they are estimating. And then we are getting that from Hill Country Alliance, and I'm sure they're working with, NASA and other ast- astronomer experts. I always say astrologer, and everyone they don't like being called that. FYI, they get very offended. So I try to be very mindful of not insulting them. But yes, that's where we're getting that information.
Tom, over to you, sir.
So Leslie, uh, uh, could you start by reminding our audience the difference in an annular and a
Totally.
total eclipse?
So, and I have little notes to help me with that because I myself need help remembering. So, an annular eclipse, it happens when the moon covers the sun's center, leaving the sun's visible outer edges to form a ring of fire, and or an annulus around the moon. And an annular solar eclipse will occur here October 14th, 2023. So that's in about 7 months. And those happen fairly frequently. And so that's still very, very cool and exciting, but it's kind of it since it happens so much, it's kind of like, oh, it's another annular eclipse for some people. But the ones that really are passionate about this, it's still very exciting. And we will be getting totality for that in October, and it's on a Saturday, so there will be two big events going on. The Kerrville Chalk Fest will be going on that day, and then the Kerrville River Fest will be going on as well. And those are both free, so that is exciting because we're anticipating. We know that it'll probably be a busy weekend, but we're anticipating about what we would see for 4th of July for that event
Okay.
for the annular, and then in it just Chalk and River Fest, which is put on by the city, just felt it makes perfect sense to have those events on that day kind of all lined up perfectly. Now, I will say for the annular eclipses are what you have to have glasses on the entire time for because you are staring at the sun. The total solar eclipse that we are going to have in April of 2024, you have to have your glasses on leading up to totality. During totality, you can take them off to experience, and then obviously when totality ends and it starts leaving, you'll need put those glasses back on because again, you're staring at the sun, so that's bad. It's bad for your eyeballs. So
We had a annular eclipse back in. Do you
yeah,
remember
it
the
wasn't
year?
that long ago.
Were you at the visitor convention and visitors bureau?
Probably. And I know we've had some like smaller ones. There's been a couple of lunar eclipses too in the past couple of years, but this is big because um, the total eclipse they occur only once every 375 years in any area. So this is literally a once in a lifetime event for us here in
Ooh.
Texas. I know, isn't that exciting? And I think the last time there was even a total solar eclipse, like complete totality, in Texas in general. So not even us. I think it was mostly like Northeast Texas. Was like 18. It's written on my desk. It was like in the 1800s. So
Wow.
I know it's pretty exciting.
Wow.
So we had Jeff Stone on an earlier podcast.
Yes, I love
and
Jeff.
Jeff's great. But one of the things he said, which I was not aware of, is that literally the path of this total eclipse is going to go between Goat Creek Road and the city of Kerrville,
Yeah,
meaning we are
we're
dead
right dead into
center.
it. We are so I think here in Kerrville we're getting 4 minutes and 24 seconds. It's one of the longer times of totality. And then Ingram, this Stonehenge in particular, I think is getting like a second or two more than us. And I feel like isn't that like a funny joke? Like
Yes.
whatever's like puppeteering this universe we're in, it was like we're gonna make sure the replica of Stonehenge gets really good totality for the 2024
Extra
eclipse.
tinfoil.
Yeah,
That's great.
so
Wow.
I know. So Hill Country Arts Foundation is planning an event out there as well because it makes complete sense since Stonehenge lives on their campus. So they'll be having an event out there and they're putting all of that together. The city of Kerrville is going to have a big one down in Lewis Hayes Park for the April 8th, 2024, and then some viewing locations at the parks. And we're kind of like trying to source any other events that people would be planning. So if you are thinking about one, please let us know. We would love to know about it.
So I have a question about that since you brought that up.
Sure.
If you look at this is your guys' resource, and I'll ask you about that in a minute. You can give a little plug there. But if I'm along one of these paths, so like not the one on the left, that's the Ring of Fire that's going
Yeah,
from left to
that's
right. It's the
the
other one that's
annular.
going from right to left.
Yes.
If I'm in the center of that path in another spot, Mexico or even up there towards Oregon, Washington, Nevada, even, is it the same experience as long as I'm in the middle of that path? Do you know?
One, that's probably a really good Jeff Stone question. Jeff has like been chasing. He's an eclipse chaser. This is his
Yes.
thing.
Yeah,
Like he
yeah.
literally retired here for this eclipse.
And where their
He
house
bought
is
his house
strategic.
specifically for where it is in totality.
He shared that with us, yeah.
So that is probably a better question answered by him. I think it would be yes, but it would probably be determined on your area's like weather conditions that are generally happen. And we know here in
Sure.
Kerrville, especially for April, in that time of year, we know we will probably have sunny, clear skies. Knock on wood, cross on fingers. We say that. We hope we're not jinxing ourselves. But yes, determined on what generally happens with your weather during that time of year. Does that make sense?
Yep. And the reason I'm asking because I wonder if you're in another city that's along that path, is their preparedness going to have to be as great as ours? I know they're
Yes.
not along the I-10 corridor.
Yes.
Right? So
I think any city that is in the path of totality should have preparation for it. I think any city that's or town that's even in maybe not in direct totality, but the path of totality, where even they're going to get any of it, should have prep for it because the path is so big, first of all. And second, let's say us as a prime location, let's say we get bad weather. Let's say we get clouds come in. Those people might have had to stay here, but they are going to go where they're going to have secondary locations, and they're going to go there, and that's going to clog up these little back roads. like Mason. Mason is one of those towns that is in the path of totality. Small little town, not as big as us. I had to go. I went and gave a talk there. A woman in the community that's been trying to raise awareness was literally
Uh-huh.
like, "Can you come put the fear of God into my community?" And I said, "Sure," um, because you can't just close your gates. Because I honestly, there are people that do this. This is literally their hobby. Is they love seeing eclipses because they're so special and rare. They've already scouted you out. They've already probably determined where you are in their list of locations if their first one didn't work out. And they're going to go and they're going to experience it one way or another. And they're going to do whatever they feel is legal. That's why it's important to plan, because there's legal and then there's what people think is legal. And that's in terms of legality, that's not a gray area to play in. So you need to
Right.
kind of prepare for that.
So what should Kerrville residents either do, think about, or even start to prepare?
I think you should put it on your calendar because it's happening. Luckily, KISD has called school for that date for April 8th. That is a Monday. Because essentially, when the totality is around noonish. I don't have that right in front of me, but I know it's on our website. But by the time it's all ending, it'll be ending when school would be getting out. Which we are trying. There's efforts in place to try to keep people here over that day to help not everybody leaving all at once, but that will happen to an extent. So you don't want buses on top of that with a large traffic jam essentially, and then worrying about emergency services about to be out. So be prepared to have your kids home from school. There will be a lot of events going on that you can participate in or go to, or just not to say hunker down, but you can hang out at your house. I would buy groceries and stock up on some essentials the week before or the week or two leading up, just because it's going to be a huge influx of people in the area and taking those not resources, but like in 2020, there was a run on toilet paper, or anytime we have big
Right.
storms like an ice storm, prepare for something like that. And we kind of have the leg up because we already live here, right?
Yeah.
I would, if you are thinking about or have the ability to rent out spaces for camping or RVs, start thinking about the logistics of doing that, because this could be the time to make a little money doing that. But again, you're going to have probably like whatever resources those people are going to need, those needs met. So make sure you can meet them. And in general, it's going to be a busy, crazy day. I think it doesn't have to be scary because your community and your community leaders are putting in a lot of work to head that off, especially with emergency service planning. But just knowing that it's coming, preparing your businesses for that, and how you're either going to operate or not operate that day is the most important. And the city of Kerrville has a lot of resources, and we've been working with them. There's a pamphlet, a community awareness pamphlet that's on our website to download, or you can come pick one up in our office, or you can go visit Parks and Rec. That kind of gives you an idea of what the community, there's a subcommittee that's giving out education on that. I believe on April 1st, it's in my notes, so I'll look at it at the library. They're doing a kickoff event
Yes.
for the total solar eclipse. That's coming up. I would attend that so you can kind of just get an idea of what's going on in your community and different ways, like you can either get involved or take advantage of it. I wish I had this in front of me, so I'm not just sifting through this in front of you on the show, but that's
It's
okay.
I don't know the exact date. I can get it.
I'm going to
But
get it. It's in here somewhere. I hope I answered your question, Tom.
you did. And if you want to, while you're looking for that, if you want to
Surely.
give a quick plug for the actual website you guys have, what is that website?
Sure. It's www. There's two. They go to the same place.
Okay.
You can it's kerrvilleeclipse.com or kerrvilletxeclipse.com. Both of those can take you there, and that's our kind of like information hub. And we will be updating that as we get more information. Feel free to fill out the form if you are thinking about, even if you're going to be having a private event. Please let us know, because we are passing that on to emergency services. It is April 1st. Okay. I remember thinking, I was like, it's April Fool's Day.
Yeah, it is. It's
But
not
they
a
will
joke.
be having a kickoff event at the library. which will be very family friendly. I think they're going to have like a, it's basically like a big blow up, like it's where you can see the skies and stuff. So it's going to be a really fun
Oh, like a
event.
mobile planetarium
Yes,
or
thank you.
something?
That's the
Oh,
word I was
man.
looking for. Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. Well, Leslie,
I hope I did a good job.
you did a great job.
Okay.
And we are at the end of our time for this episode. So thank you so much for your willingness to be here and the
Totally.
great insight that you have shared with us. And we look forward to speaking with you more as these
Yeah.
times approach.
But it's gonna be exciting. Like I said, this doesn't happen all the time. It's a really great opportunity for our community to not only be on the map, but also take advantage of people coming to visit, and all of those great things that come when we have visitors, like hot tax collection and sales tax. So it's a good thing. We just need to prepare for it, and that all those efforts are in place actively.
I hope we can continue this conversation with you down the road, Leslie.
I hope so too.
Thank you again.
Thanks.